Okay, are we live, baby? In direct, baby. Let's get a little more loading in here. We coming live from the karaoke stream, baby. I'm at the karaoke box right now, baby. Yeah, baby. What up? What up? What up? Yo, I'm actually wondering, do they actually have Come Together real quick? What's up, everybody? What's up? Hey, what's up, everybody? Hold on, let me look real quick, see if they have that song. I'll sing it for you guys. Come together right now. Come together right now. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. Oh, they do have Come Together. But I don't know who the new version is. I don't know if is it the new one or Primal Scream? I don't know who that is. All right. Let me just see if this is the one. So guys, just to let you guys know, oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know who Primal Scream is then. Just to let you guys know, I'm in a karaoke booth right now. If you guys don't know, my name is Akasan, and I live in Japan. And I'm in a karaoke booth right now because I saw Justice League at 12 o'clock today, 12 a.m., and it was interesting. I'm in the karaoke booth right now because the first train doesn't start until 2 hours from now. So you're gonna have to forgive me. I'm a little tired, like pretty tired. I did indeed record my first initial reaction for you guys coming out of the movie theater, and it was interesting. Hold on, let me turn off this music. It's actually distracting. Oh, that song, Primal Scream. Okay. Anyways, so let me tell you guys it's like almost 4 a.m. in the morning right now. So I'm a little burnt out. I have はい。ただいまの時間でフードの方がラストオーダーになっております。あ、大丈夫です。はい。ありがとうございます。はい。Sorry, it was last order for food or some shit like that. Anyways, all right. So I have a 20-minute first reaction, my initial reaction video that I'm going to upload in a few hours. It's just the Wi-Fi is spotty. So if you want to see my first immediate thoughts after the movie, that's a good video to watch. But now I've had some time to kind of think about it and chill out a bit and give... I'm not spoiling anything, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. But definitely, the one thing I will say is if you're expecting them, Snyder and company, the entire production to sort of have dramatically improved post BVS, you'll be severely disappointed, actually. And I'm not saying that's actually a bad thing. I think if you're actually a fan of BVS, if you loved BVS, then I think you're going to be fine with Justice League. There's going to be a few additions of humor, a few tweaks that I think hardcore DCEU fans may not like, actually. But I think if you've been liking what the DCEU has been putting out so far, I think you're going to like this. But I do feel like that there is a lack of emotional involvement, emotional depth in the characters, in the story, and it's interesting because I feel like there wasn't actually enough time to explore everything that's going on in the movie. There's a lot going on in the movie, and I think that's actually I don't I think that's actually one of the biggest problems of the movie is the pacing. It's not as jarring and it's not as fucked up as BVS was, but you can definitely tell there are some issues in the movie where you're seeing one scene, and suddenly you just time jump or you just jump to a whole nother setting and then you jump back to another setting and it doesn't have that easy edge into it. BVS, the theatrical version, was terrible at it. Justice League is not bad at it, but it is noticeable. Secondly, um, as an avid comic fan, as somebody who actually knows a lot about the DC history and all these different characters and all these different backgrounds, the Atlanteans, the Amazons, the Kryptonians. I'm not going to mention anything else because that would be a huge spoiler. Um, there's a lot going in there, and I think as someone, even as of someone who knows a lot, I was like, "Whew, this is a lot to take in," and they tend to just kind of go over it really quickly. So if you haven't seen BVS, uh, that's going to be it's going to be difficult because you really are just kind of thrown into this movie um, without any sort of explanation of why they're doing certain things. And it really is the sequel to BVS. There's a lot going on that really goes hand in hand with BVS. So if you've only seen Wonder Woman, you're going to be pretty damn lost. Uh, it pretty much picks up exactly after BVS and has almost all the same set pieces and the same story point of BVS. And I think that's actually going to be kind of hard for a lot of people. I can also uh, see exactly why it got the rating it did on Rotten Tomatoes. To be honest, the more and more honestly speaking, judging it as a critic and as the movie as its own self-absorbed story, I'm kind of surprised that there actually wasn't the score wasn't even lower because, like I said, it has issues with trying to jam a lot in there, but I can see that they tried to do something different and they try to fix certain things. So but you definitely see yourself sometimes scratching your head like, okay, there's a lot going on, but not really a lot of emotional depth to really be involved in it. And I think that's what I was thinking, what I felt, because a lot of the movie really felt like a third act in terms of like we're seeing a lot of explosions and a lot of fighting and a lot of crazy stuff going on. But do we really care about these characters? Do we really care about these characters who were just introduced, particularly Aquaman, Cyborg, uh, Flash? You know what? Interesting enough, they actually did get Flash and Barry Allen's background. For some reason, they handled that well enough. They kind of just glossed over his powers really quickly. It was just like, like I was really surprised about that. They just kind of glossed over it really quickly. So that's why I'm saying there really isn't much of any explanation for any of these people showing up. Basically, they're just kind of there. They're like, okay, you can do this, you can do this. Let's go all team up together and fight. Basically, so Um, so if you guys really want to know, like my opinion, if I liked it or not, I'd say I. Sorry, because there's actually a line in the movie that's exactly what I'm thinking right now, but I'm not gonna spoil it. So, um, I didn't dislike it. Let me put it that way. I didn't dislike it. There's things that bothered me about it sometimes, and but it's stuff that I can kind of look over and be like, all right, um, you did your best. You did your best, DC, EU. You did your best, Zack Snyder. I see what you were trying to go for. I'm not exactly excited leaving the movie theater. I'm not exactly like, fuck yeah, yeah, Justice League. I'm more or less like, all right, let's stick to the solo movies from now on for quite some time. Let's. I think. I think it was a very bold direction that they were going for. I think they did a great job trying to introduce it. And the other thing I want to remind people is there's an actual comic book when they restarted the DC, the New 52. Um, when they restarted the New 52, and they introduced this story called Justice League War, I believe, and they had all these guys. People showed up. It was kind of the same feeling for me in some form or fashion. Whereas I felt like they kind of just threw everybody together, and suddenly they were kind of like this Avengers-ish team, a bunch of misfits or something put together. I feel like this movie kind of had that same exact feeling. So in some sense, I don't blame Justice League, the live action movie, for following suit, the same style. Um, you don't have that Avengers excitement of seeing all of them on the screen for the first time ever, because you don't have the emotional background, you don't have the depth, the character development, um, for everybody to be like, oh fuck yeah, yeah. Look, I know him, I know him, I know him. And then even when you do have the characters that you do know from previous movies reuniting, they don't necessarily uh, have this unity or they don't necessarily get along either, which I thought was interesting as well. But it's different. It's definitely different, guys. It it's definitely different, and I feel that, like I said, I, in some sense, applaud Zack Snyder uh, and company for trying to go a route that was different from Marvel, but I definitely think that their strength now, the best thing that they can do is just stick to solo movies. Just definitely stick to solo movies. I think they do definitely have potential for the Aquaman movie, the Flash movie, even the Cyborg movie. I definitely think solo movies are in order at this point, but no more team up movies because it just doesn't. There's just too much. There's just too much going on, and uh, too much going on, and the general audiences are just all going to be like, I just don't care, basically, you know. Uh, yeah. Um, the other thing I do want to point out about uh, one of the critiques, um, that people were saying about the CGI. I don't know. I don't. Eh. There's some shitty green screen work occasionally in that movie. There's some noticeable stuff like, ooh, fuck, you couldn't have just gone to the farm or to the just you couldn't have just gone to wherever corn is grown and shit and film something there. Um, there's some noticeable green screen work that I thought was interesting. But honestly, guys, honestly, with all the third acts and all the villains, uh, the villains, and you know how people complain about the CGI villains, I didn't see that. I didn't see that as a problem at all. If anything, if anything, I still felt that the final battle, the final battles, and all the fights that were going on still looked better. The CG still looked better than most Marvel movies that I see, particularly most noticeable, most recent Thor Ragnarok. It still looked like believable, if that's the word. Um, yeah, yeah. And there's little points in there that I thought was done really good. The coloring I thought it was an interesting choice. You can definitely see the points where Josh came in there and brightened it up, but uh, uh, but it's occasionally showed faults in the costumes. I thought like it kind of made the costumes look really fake or rubbery occasionally. So that's kind of interesting, right? You know, but I definitely don't think the CGI was a big problem because it's fucking parademons. What are the fuck are you gonna like? I don't understand how they wouldn't make that real. And I also feel you know, one of the complaints that we were a lot of us were saying from the trailers is, you know, where are all the people basically? Why does it look like they're fighting on in a void world, right? There's a good reason for that, which I thought was kind of clever uh, for them to do it that way, but um, it was interesting. Uh, but anyways, my recommendation, guys, is if you haven't, um, what? Okay, was the Rotten Tomato score justified? Yeah, yeah, because it's you know, any critic trying to any critic looking at this, and when you know when you go in, you look at this as a self-containing movie, right? Does it have a good start? Does it have a good middle? Does it have a good end? And Justice League kind of it's pretty faulty at that in the beginning. It feels like an episode. It feels like a continuing episode from something else, and that's a little bit jarring in the beginning. You're just like, the fuck, um, and so I totally get why that score. To be honest, I'm surprised it's not further down, but people, I think critics and reviewers can tell that DCEU, Warner Brothers, Zack Snyder and company, they're trying to make things better, and they're trying to get a step in the right direction. Um, and it does feel very similar to a Marvel movie. There are little instances in there where you're like, huh, that was kind of Avengers, or that was very Marvel like. So I can see where some critics would be like, ah, that was funny, one extra score up, like that. You know, fans are gonna love it. Uh, Hardcore fans, I mean, they're gonna love it regardless. You know, DC son is gonna love this movie. He'll watch it a few times. I might watch it again. Let me put it this way: I'm not really. It's not on my big to-do list right now. Uh, my girlfriend's never seen Batman v Superman, and I know she likes Jason Momoa. So I don't know if she wants to see this movie or not, though. Um, But the thing is, if she goes in watching this movie, she's gonna be confused as hell, like what's going on. And I don't know if we really are gonna, if she wants to sit through Batman v Superman just to understand that stuff. So, post credits, without spoiling anything, post credits would, I felt they were, it was interesting. The post credits were interesting. Um, but I do feel they should have switched the two of them. They should have switched one for the other one like that. That would have been better. Um, uh, but I do think with the oh, is it bad? Are we back, guys? Lag? Ah, that's too bad. Well, sorry about that, guys. Um, that's why everything is dropping right now. Nothing better? No, okay. Lag? Can you guys, are we good already? Are we back? Okay, you better? Yeah. Okay, good. So it's good? All right. Um, I'm not using anything. I'm using my fucking iPhone in uh in a karaoke booth right now, just so I can talk to you guys and let you guys know how this movie is. In a few hours, I'm gonna go home. I'll have my high speed internet. I'll upload my initial reaction, and then I gotta go to fuck to sleep so I can get like 4 hours of sleep before I go to work and shit. This is the last time I'm doing this shit, man. Um, that was rough. Yeah, that was rough. But anyways, yeah, just for an update, if you're just joining right now, um, did I like the film? I didn't dislike it. That's all I can really say. I didn't dislike it. Uh, it had its moments. I would rather them just focus on solo movies at this point. Uh, like, yeah, that was that was it basically. I wouldn't say if you're a big fan, don't skip it. If you're not really, if you haven't seen BVS, uh, if you're not really, if you don't really know much about the lore of uh, the DC world, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really. It wasn't really made for. It wasn't. They try. They really did their best. They kind of they did their best to throw a lot of stuff in, but that was a lot of shit to absorb really quick. Even for someone like me who knows the lore of 4 or 5 different types of people and different planets and different worlds, that was a lot of shit to throw in. So uh, the scenes with Superman was, uh, without spoiling anything, was interesting. Yeah, it was a nice little flashbacks to BBS. Yeah. Anything else? Without spoil, I can't spoil anything. I don't want to spoil anything. So is it similar to? So it is similar to Suicide Squad. The fun and action makes it okay if you're a fan. Yeah, yeah, that's fair enough to say. I'd say it is better than Suicide Squad because Justice League has BVS to come off of. Uh, but you know, in some sense, I still think Suicide Squad, personally for me, Suicide Squad just had a better look to it because they, I don't. That's really weird, but yeah, very interesting though. Yeah. Um, I thought Miller's Flash was interesting. I thought he was interesting. I thought he was interesting, a good comic relief at times. Sometimes looked a little corny in the suit occasionally. Like I could kind of understand why they've never he was never unmasked. What I mean is he never took off the helmet and kept the rest of the bodysuit on, which I thought was kind of interesting. That suit did not look as good as I thought it was going to look on the screen. Um, and his powers, interesting enough, uh, his speed force did not rival that of Quicksilver's. I thought they were going to have. There was one moment I think where everybody was hoping we were going to see some dope shit that was going to wipe the floor with the Quicksilver scenes, but it wasn't that. Um, I was actually really surprised about that because judging from the trailers, he looked fucking quick and like really good. But it wasn't as over dominating as I thought it was going to be. But there are some cool scenes in there when he is using the Speed Force. Yeah. Uh, yeah. If you haven't been impressed by any of the DC films so far, this is not going to change your mind. It's rental, total rental. Watch it at home and be cool with that. If they, um, it definitely needed more room to breathe, but if they release an extended cut at this point, um, it's just gonna, it sets a really bad precedent that every time they put out a theatrical version, it's like, well, better wait for a better storytelling. It's like, yeah, which one is better, BVS or JL? JL. Nothing will be as bad as. I hope nothing will be as bad as BVS because at least JL, you're entertained. They make efforts to be entertained. I will say that it's a little strange. I thought this point was a little strange that they had a lot of fan service um, in the film, which was a little weird. I don't know if it's because of the times with hashtag Me Too or Weinstein or anything like that. Um, but there was a lot of fan service in the film that, as a male, I enjoyed it. But then the more and more it kept on happening in the movie, I was why are they whoring out Wonder Woman so much? Like, I was like there's some scenes like that are like a little like did they really need to put that scene in there? And especially bringing in the fact that brought in more they brought in more of Wonder Woman's world in the reshoots. Uh, I'm kind of surprised nobody was like, you know what, we probably should not use Wonder Woman this particular way, um, because Wonder Woman was really popular, and you have a lot of fans that are going to be tuning in uh, to this movie because of Wonder Woman. We probably shouldn't be using this kind of like horny boy type scene and shit. So, Alex, no, he did not. I was waiting for that too. Unfortunately, in my opinion, I feel Aquaman was kind of not utilized so much. It wasn't utilized so well in the film. I was uh, His scenes were kind of jarring in the beginning. They just kind of threw it in there. Like I didn't like that so much. They were just like that kind of felt weird to me. They rushed through him really quickly. Um, that was something weird. I'm not gonna. I don't want to spoil anything, but they kind of uh, rushed him a little bit. So. Oh, I definitely think Miller would have been better as Wally West. I definitely think Miller played. He was basically playing Wally West and not Barry Allen, but it's fine. I guess they're merging the two. I don't care. It's like whatever at this point. You know what? I didn't mind Steppenwolf. I didn't mind him actually. I don't know why people are complaining about him as like. Let me put it this way: JL had so much they were fucking dealing with. The Justice League story had so much they were trying to do in this movie that trying to give more background to Steppenwolf and trying to include Darkseid and all this other shit, just it would have really weighted shit down. So I honestly didn't have a problem with Steppenwolf, but yeah, he was a bit one dimensional. But to be honest, I thought he looked pretty fucking cool. Um, you know, yeah, he looked just like I don't know why recently all the villains in comic book movies have fucking horns and surrounded by fire or electricity or something like that. Thor Ragnarok, Wonder Woman, Hades. Um, I don't know why that's like a trend going on right now, but if I were to take all of them, I still think that Steppenwolf was pretty dope in that movie. So, um, you know, I still think he was pretty dope. I didn't mind him, but uh, you know, yeah, I thought it was all right. There was something in the end that was a little weird. I was like, "What, really?" But I was like, "Whatever," you know. Yeah. All right, guys. So, I guess that'll be it for today. Okay. Like I said, if you love the movie, I mean, if you're a diehard fan, you're gonna see this movie anyways. You're gonna love it because you're not gonna care about the lack of background or emotional uh, connection development, but because yeah, like it really does. The movie really does feel like an episode like that. But uh, uh, if you haven't really been impressed by JL so far, or the DC movie so far, there's nothing. It's basically no, it's not going to change anything. You're not going to get crazy about it. If you like a lot of crazy, pointless action, pointless, maybe pointless, I don't know. If you like a lot of action without any like any sort of backing behind it, you'll like this movie. Uh, yeah. So there you go. Out of five, if I were to rate this movie, man, I don't know. I guess three. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. I'm not angry like I was with BVS. Um, I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay. So I'd say three's fair enough. Three's fair enough. If it was out of 10, it would be five or four or something. Um, yeah, they're they're getting better, guys. They're getting better, but it's just taking a long time to get to that point. I honestly, I just think they need to focus on solo movies and let's just leave it like that. Focus on the solo movies, the team ups, stop trying to connect everything. I think it'd be the best. and I think they'll be in better hands at that point. Basically, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's take it from there. Okay. You guys take care of yourselves, guys. I might take a nap. I might come together right now or sleep. All right. Okay, guys. Take care of yourselves. I'm out of here. Yeah. Peace.